Muggleton just has to cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.
Hello, race fans, and welcome here to the Get Dirty MX post-race show here for the V8 Supercar Americas Series. From V8's Online, I'm JD Smith. With me is Kane Kraft. We just got through finishing up this fantastic 24-lap race at Road Atlanta in Week 3 of the V8 Supercar Americas Series. Our winner today was Marlon J. McMullen, who won the race. I'm going to bring him in first and foremost. And Marlon McMullen, welcome to the Get Dirty MX post-race show. Congratulations. And we just want to welcome you to the first ever V8 America's Get Dirty MX post-race show. And tell us a little bit about your race preparation this week.
Yeah, g'day guys. Yeah, this week was no different from any other, but Road Atlanta is one of those tracks that I really love, and it's one of those tracks you can really attack and throw the car on, and it's always suited me. And this week, went out there and pulled out a personal best in qualifying, did a 20.7, and it's only a couple of tenths off the world record, so I'm really happy with that. It's actually, I think, the sixth fastest time in the world at the moment. So, usually my qualifying is pretty poor, so yeah, valved from that one this week. And other than that, I knew it was a fuel-saving race, and did a race yesterday and it didn't really go to plan. I jumped the start and got a black flag. But,
well, I tell you what, man, Marlon, that was a fantastic jump you got off to today. It looked like once you got out to that start, it looked like Chad really kind of helped you out for a moment there as he jumped ahead of Sean Kelly. And as those two battled out for second, it really kind of gave you an opportunity to jump out to a big lead. Now, my question is, how in the world did you keep that ever so loving Godspeed pace and still save fuel here?
I guess, as I said, doing it for a few seasons, you learn your tricks of the trade. And one thing that you can get under your belt, which is really good, is the fuel saving races, because you can go into a corner and actually be faster fuel saving. And I was using that to my advantage come near the end of the race, and there's a couple of spots where you can just save fuel. You don't need to save, for a whole lap and stuff. And other than that, you just got to pick your spots and get away with it. And I did, and I just had enough each lap just to get me by. I was just on the cusp of it each lap, and yeah, was a little bit hairy at the end, but just got by a whisker.
Sounds great, Marlon. I'm going to bring in another guest here on the Get Dirty MX post-race show. I'm going to bring in the second place driver, Sean Kelly, and I'm going to keep you here with us, Marlon, and we're going to bring in a bunch of guys, and we'll have some big chats here. So without further ado, let's bring in Sean Kelly. Sean, you got a copy with us, buddy?
Yeah, hey guys.
Hey, awesome, my friend. Welcome to the Get Dirty MX post-race show. And Sean, we got Marlon here still with us, and we're going to bring some more drivers in and have so we'll all have like a kind of a group chat going on here. But I talked a little bit about Marlon, and we were talking a little bit about the beginning of that race and how he was trying to explain to us how in the world, and I want to hear your side of things, how in the world were you able to save fuel with that pace you guys are running? Y'all were running on an average pace about a 2 second faster than Chad back in third.
Well, I don't know. Like, I didn't really do the fuel numbers properly. Done a brief test and realised it might be a fuel saver. So I rolled off a couple of times, but it turns out I don't think I needed a fuel saver at all. Because I think we tend to. It's a bit of a misconception sometimes because we run a bit higher mid-corner pace. We can get on the throttle a little more gently, and just carrying a higher mid-corner pace means that we can sometimes use less fuel than others.
Man, it's just really awesome to hear. It's amazing to me. I think when I see you guys run like that, I just think y'all burn so much fuel. But it's not always about that, is it? It's more, it's a lot of carrying a lot of speed through the corners and without using fuel. It's just it's a lot more technical or tactical than just heavy-footedness, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. End of the day, I think for those that save fuel, it wouldn't have been much. It would have just been rolling off the end of the back straight half a dozen times at most. So yeah, they should have been alright. But yeah, it's quite interesting going into the race. You're not really sure where you're at with fuel, but yeah, it turned out alright.
Man, that's just awesome stuff. Tell you what, I'm going to bring in another driver too, and I'm going to keep you guys in here because eventually what I want to do is I want to have you guys, I have a couple questions for as a group. So next, let's bring in here Chad real quick since he came across in third. And Chad, welcome to the Get Dirty MX Post Race Show, brother. You got a copy with me?
I do. Thanks for having me in.
Absolutely, Chad. I still have Marlon and Sean here with us. You guys are the official podium here at Road Atlanta, my home track. So congratulations to you three. A really great show. Now, Chad, tell us a little bit about, since we have Sean here with us, y'all tell us a little bit about that battle you guys had at the beginning of the race. Hear from you first, Chad.
Well, yeah, I'm focused on Marlon, and I'm trying to put a little pressure and just show in his mirrors and maybe force him into a mistake, and then I look up in my mirror and Sean's doing the same thing, and so I'm in the sandwich. I'd much rather be in the tail of that whole situation, rather be chasing, be the hunter than hunted, and it was pretty funny, and he just had a great drive coming out of that right-hander before the long straight, and I think when talking with him, he ran a different gear ratio, and he just pulled me, and yeah, once he cleared me going through the chicane there, it was all she wrote. He was just ticking just a little bit faster, and then just watching that car get smaller, man, it's painful. It's death, it's a slow death.
Slow, painful death. Well, I tell you what, nobody was more happy than Marlon as he watched you two battle. He kind of got to ride off into the sunset there. Now, Sean, you tell us a little bit from your point of view. What was it like when Chad got off to that big run there? How were you able to buckle down and get the overtake?
Yeah, I just knew I had to stay close, and it was a case of weighing up. Do I wait and see if Chad's going to make a move on Marlon, or do I try and get a move done on Chad, and then put me ahead and get Marlon. So I just tried to get pressure on, tried to make most of my ratio and just be there in the right spot on it. It runs in the back straight, and it worked out pretty good. It's pretty vital to have your car, at its most stable point before you turn right onto the back straight. It gives you a really good run. So I tend to brake a bit earlier and make the car really stable there, and got good traction, got up alongside, and I knew I had a different ratio. I knew Chad didn't know what ratio I had, so I knew it'd be a bit of a surprise once we got down there at the end, and he gained two car lengths in an instant. So yeah, but it worked out great.
Yeah, I'll say so. That's yeah, I was about to say, I'll say that worked out just fine, and I'm going to continue to bring some more drivers in as we continue. Guys, thanks for watching the Get Dirty MX Post Race Show. Let's bring in one of your teammates, Chad. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Marty Carroll here, and the reason, let's see if we can get Marty.
That hurt sometimes.
Yeah, Marty, welcome to the show, buddy.
There you go.
He's always just a full chatter right there, buddy. That's why I had to bring him on here. We got to get somebody to talk with us. Marty.
Sorry, I was in the green room mid-conversation. Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's just funny every time I grab Marty out of there, he's already talking. It's just so funny. Welcome to the Get 30 MX post-race show, Marty. Now, the reason I brought you in here, obviously, SDC Motorsports teamed up with Chad today. Chad did a fantastic job finishing in third, the final spot on the podium. Now, Marty, we saw you get off to a nice start, and things were looking very promising for you today, and something happened. You fell back, and it took the rest of the race for you to kind of get back to where you were.
Yeah, I got a slowdown. I was chasing Peter there early. Obviously, I was a beneficiary of Nigel and Mark Anderson running wide there in turn one and getting on the grass. And I was just pushing hard behind Pete and missed me turn-in marker and got a slowdown. And it was a comedy of errors. I was on the wrong channel trying to tell the guys that I was pulling over into turn one, and they couldn't hear me. And I pulled out in front of Nigel, and I think I balked him a bit with Michael Fulcher, so I apologise to those guys. But yeah, and then slowly got my rhythm back, and I was chasing down Curtis and Peter and Samuel. Without that mistake, I think I would have had something for those guys. But no, I had a great battle with Jake there, and it's good to see him out in his new colours. So it was good fun race in the end.
It was, and while we're talking about Jake, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in here as well too, Marty. Jake, welcome to the Get Dirty MX Post Race Show. Fantastic job. Look good down in there in the Sim Instruments Ford Falcon today. Tell us a little bit about your battles with Marty today.
Yeah, hey fellas, it was quite a good race all around, especially with Marty and Sam Sutton. Just some good racing. I had some netcode contact with Nigel Baines on the first lap, which it didn't hurt me at the time, but it just mucked up my aero really badly. It was costing me probably half a second a lap, I reckon. But yeah, I still managed to hang it around the rest of the race, and it was just a bit hard to pull it off because they all could use the draft to get around me, so I had to cover like mad. And yeah, it was good. Ended up having some battles, and it was good. First broadcast America's race with my new team, so lots of fun. And yeah, I was happy to finish where I did.
Yeah, and I have to give you credit, Jake. I think I speak on behalf of a lot of the drivers out there. The new ride looks very well. The Sim Instruments Ford Falcon looked very good out there today, and it definitely saw some good camera time. As a lot of times you had the best battle of the race going on between you and Marty, and also with Sam Sutton as well. So that was definitely good. I'll go ahead and bring Sam in here anyway, so we can. I have some questions for all you guys as a whole, so I'm gonna start to bring some guys in. Sam Sutton, welcome to the Get Dirty MX Post Race Show from Road Atlanta here. Sam, tell us a little bit about your day here at Road Atlanta and some of the fun you had there with Jake Burton.
Oh, that was mad fun with Jake. Made a few setup tweaks from an earlier race in the weekend, just couldn't get any grip in the rear, so it was a bit slippery, but I enjoyed it all out, and it was a good return to the Americas for me.
Yeah, it really was. We're really happy to see you in the Americas Series again. I am so excited at the way that this series is really starting to grow. It is becoming a really, really talented league. You guys, everybody from first to last place has loads of talent. We have some of the big drivers from the Australians series on Monday coming over this way for Friday nights. It's really been fun to see. But what I love is it seems like you guys are growing as a whole, and the group is actually finishing a lot closer than we were 2 seasons ago when we had a lot of guys that couldn't even hang nowhere near the lead lap, and that's just really fun to see.
Yeah, I think the more
go right ahead.
running together, I mean, we're all running together, so we're all getting the seat time together, and just our pace is picking up at the same rate. So it's good having close battles around the track.
It really is, and it makes for fantastic broadcasts. I got 2 more drivers to bring in real quick, and then I can start our group questions. Let me bring in Michael Fulcher from Kamikaze Race Team. Michael Fulcher, you have a copy with me, brother?
Yeah, got you, JD. How you doing?
Fantastic, buddy. Welcome to the Get Dirty MX post-race show, Michael. Not quite the day you may have wanted, but I'm sure you had a fun day out there. I know that you and your teammate had fun with Nigel back there. Y'all are kind of battling him around, and that was really fun to watch y'all three. Y'all had quite an interesting finish there as well. Tell me about that finish.
Well, for starters, I was hoping that you got it on the broadcast, so that's great news because, man, I've never seen anything like that.
3 wide at Road Atlanta, and we're wrecking across the finish line. That was really fun right there.
Yeah, well, my fuel numbers were so tight, and the last 10 laps I was trying to save a bit of fuel, but I had Mark and Nigel right on the hammer, so I was about a corner short of what I wanted to save, and I spluttered on the last corner, and here come the boys. I tried to move over and get out of the road, and Mark was going to come up the inside, and we totally blocked the track for Nigel. I had nowhere to go, and my teammate overtook me in reverse to take 10th position. Man, exciting stuff.
It really was. I just couldn't imagine if you put that finish right there for the win at the front, you would have heard me lose my voice on the air there. That was really, really fun to watch, and it was really exciting. Yeah, for all the other drivers that are here, and you guys got to check that out once we get out of here. That was really some finish. I got one more driver to bring in, and then I want to hear some things from you guys. I have some questions for you guys as a group. So next I'm going to bring in our good friend Bones. He's also known as Graham Fyland, our good buddy. And let's get him in here. Graham, you have a copy, buddy?
Hey, how you going, JD?
There he is,
Yeah,
a good
never
buddy.
around.
And I tell you what, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome to the post-race show. And Bones, another week gone by and another race. Tell me about it, buddy.
Scraping in there now as the number 16 driver this time, and I think I gained one spot just due to Richard dropping off, so still a full second off the pace of the slower guys in here. So
Hey, that's all right,
Yeah.
though. And one of the things that we were talking about, and now that we do have everybody in here, I want to ask you guys some questions as a group. And one thing I did talk about right before you got in here, I was talking with Sam, and we were talking about the just how this series is really growing and how much you guys are racing good together as a group, where we don't have two drivers running off and lapping everybody. Everybody's 2 or 3 laps down like it was, say, 2 seasons ago. It's really, really getting incredible, and I love the battles that we're having out on the track, not only in the front, but in the back as well.
Oh yeah, there's some good pace there. There was a good finish there between three of them. Did you catch that one?
Yeah, that's what we just had talked about. That would have been Michael Fulcher, Mark Anderson, and Nigel Baines. And I wish we had, we have Michael here, but teammate Mark Anderson and then Nigel Baines not here right now. But that was some finish.
Nigel apologises. He's just had to go put ice on his neck after that crash.
He's gonna need to do something that's gonna hurt his feelings too.
Somebody's getting sued.
Yeah, I'm looking at my wallet now. I'll have to pay the medical bills, I'm sure.
That was
I'm
something
sure
else.
He'll invoice you.
Well, I tell you, one of the questions that I really had for everybody in here, and obviously we all can't answer at one time, but I do want to get several inputs on this question. One of the things that's really big that is not carried through in the V8's Americas Series, one of the things that we love about the V8's Americas Series is the total dedication. This series is one of the few official series that has the dedication that it does, I think, in the entire iRacing service. You guys keep up with the points each week, and it's one of the things that Kane fell in love with you guys first, and he introduced me to you guys, and we have fallen in love with this league. It is just truly a pleasure to be a part of V8's Online. But one of the great things is we have one of the best point battles there is. But here's my question, though. We have all kinds of teams in this series, and we do not have a team championship per se with you guys. What is your opinion on having some kind of team championship as well as an individual championship in the V8's Americas Series? And first, Michael, you want to speak on that?
Oh, I think it's a great idea. I know some of the other guys run their leagues and hosted leagues and that do it. Instead of limiting the numbers for the teams, the amount of drivers they can have, they say take the best 2 results. So you got 4 drivers, you only get the best 2 results for your team points. Yeah, I think something like that could really work.
Yeah, it worked really well in the Monday night. They used to do that for the V8s, and I think they had something like 30 teams or something at one stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, it adds another element to the competition and what you're looking at every week. I mean, not only are you watching the individual standings, but you're watching those team standings. It was a lot of fun on Mondays.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've been thinking about. I mean, it just kind of crossed my mind as we watch, and you guys actually have a nice size audience that watches your races quite frequently. And we always mention the sponsors, and we always mention the teams that you guys are on. But it's almost like there's very little meaning to those teams because there's no championship points for your team. It's all on an individual basis. And I didn't know. That's why I wanted to bring you guys in as a whole to see just kind of an ideasm on it. Do you guys think it's a good idea, or is it a bad idea? Do you think it takes away on the other side of the fence? Does it take away from the individual championships? My personal opinion is I don't think it takes away at all. I think that it adds more to what we already have. And I think that if you have something like this already built, why not go ahead and use it? We already have teams. It's not like we'd have to divide up into teams. You guys have done that on your own. And I think that it's one of the best things about this series is if you're currently in a team, which most of you are, you guys work really hard each week to bring the setups, the preparation. We talked about it on our talk show, Marty. You know, with 3 or 4 guys, you're putting in 20-30 hours a week versus if you're by yourself, it'd be almost virtually impossible to put that many hours towards a setup in. So more heads are better than one, and I think that's one of the reasons why this series has thrived the way it has. Just over a 2-season period, it has grown and improved this much, and I think we owe that to the team that we have.
Yeah, what I find from when we were talking on Wednesday, JD, was it brings the importance into those battles from 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th and 11th. They become very important. Like, so towards the end of the season, we're not just looking at Chad and Marlon battling out for the championship. We're looking, for Jake and Sam, because Sam might have to get that one position. Gone. Well, now Sean's here, this makes it hard, getting in the middle, But we've got to support our Kiwi drivers, so that's okay.
We're getting messed up the points championship in week 3. We got many more post-race shows to bust that argument out.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it just brings importance into those battles, because at the end of the day, that one position can be the difference between, winning the team championship, as well as your individual drivers' driving standard points.
Yeah, well, I think that's a wonderful. I think it's a wonderful idea, Marty. Go ahead with that, Bones.
Oh, just saying, I really missed it since it left the Aussie series. I think the guy who was pulling it all together couldn't do it anymore or something or other. But yeah, like he had 30 teams to pull together, so it's a fair bit of work. Whoever wants to put their hand up to do it, but it's well worth it.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we even head towards that direction, let's start another question. If we were to try to adapt a team championship. Now, here's another question. How would we score this? And I'd like to hear multiple opinions on this because it definitely is a huge it's a huge thing. I mean, if you have where you take just the top 2 drivers, we have different number of teams. We have 2-man teams, 3-man teams, 5-man teams, 4-man teams. You guys know. What is the answer to that? How do you score it? And do we keep it similar to the scoring of the individual championship? How does this work? And I'd like to hear different views on that. Whoever feels lucky has a good idea. Speak or I don't know.
I think the Apex Racing League system, which they use, is really good, where you run the best 2 drivers in each team or highest point scoring drivers each week, because the thing about that is it doesn't always revolve around just having one driver, and also it relies on consistency, and I don't know how you'd do it if you just have 4 drop weeks or something like that, or how it would work, but I think definitely if you just have 2 cars count, that would be a really good way to do it, because it works really well in Apex Racing League, but just unfortunately we don't really have the competition in that league, but we definitely do in this, so it could work.
I think that's really. No, go right ahead, Bones.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's why we had 8 drivers and we'd split them up into 2 different teams. Like that's why we had the Altitude, Volvo, and then the HPR team. So you had the 4 in each, and the best 2 got the points. But
I think that's a fantastic idea. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think you could count more than 2 because then you leave out the 2-man teams, and yeah, I think you leave the drop weeks. Well, my opinion anyway, you leave the drop weeks as they are with the individuals, and because I mean, if you score 3, then the 2-man teams are left out of it, and that's no good for participation. That's my 2 cents.
Even the 1-man teams as it is, like me, kind of at the moment. Yeah, so that would even be a struggle for us. So yeah, 3 would definitely be too much. 2's the most comfortable number for everyone in the community.
That was my next question, Jake. What happens if there is a 1-man team, a privateer? Now, what I've seen in the past, we don't have enough privateers, I think, to do this, but we had a team championship and then a single-man team or a privateer championship as well. But I don't know how we would do that. I think that the most common answer would be the 2-man, take the top 2 scores. of a team. If you have a 4-man team and 2 of your members score high this week and then 2 different guys in your team make the top score, you take those top scores. I think that we use the same drop weeks that we use for the individual championship as well, because I think that we have to use what we use with one, we use with the other, and it makes it a lot easier to keep track of. We don't have to say, oh, the team championship's different than the individual championship. They're the same.
Jim Davey.
Do what?
I nominate Jim Davey.
Yeah,
We all
yes, I was
nominate-
going to do that.
We all nominate Jim Davey. He's not here, but we'll talk to him if he wants to do it. That's great. If not, we'll see somebody does. I would do it. I'm just terrible with math, and I don't want to make anybody upset. I have to ask Kane all the time to find the points for us, because it is tough if you don't know how it works, and it can get very confusing if you're not highly dialed into it. So it's just an idea, and I think that it is something that I have talked to Kane about, and I really wanted to get the views of you guys on our first ever Get Dirty MX post-race show, because you guys are the league. We just broadcast it. We come in and we love to watch you guys week after week. Even if we didn't broadcast, me and Kane would be here watching you guys race, because it's just such a fun thing to watch. You guys have it's a lot different than just going or watching a random race. You guys week in and week out improve as a group, and that in itself is extremely fun. The battles that we see tend to be starting little rivalries, so whether you realize it or not, it seems that the same certain drivers tend to kind of get around one another and find themselves in battles. You all know who you are, and it makes for fun. It makes for fun TV. I mean, let's face it, that's exactly what we do. We're broadcasting TV. It may not be full, NBC Sports on a Sunday, but it's, it's a V8's online, and we like what we have, and we thank you guys for being a part of it.
Well, it's as close as a lot of us are ever going to come to being real race car drivers, and so, we get our competitive Jones, if you will, stage
right.
here. And I do, you develop these little rivalries, and for a better part of a year now, Marlon and I have gone back and forth, and depending on the month of the year, one is faster than the other, and I continue to push for that, and the car requires a certain level of dedication. So yeah, we do see each other week in and week out, and you develop a trust with the guy next to you that I don't think is in a lot of the other series, and it allows us to push. Hell, I talk to Marlon more than I do the guy that lives next to me.
And I understand that 100%, and that's what I mean when I say you guys grow as a group. The racing that is on the broadcast each week doesn't lie, and you guys can go back and watch one of our old broadcasts from season 2013, season 4, and then turn around and watch a broadcast from this season already, and you guys will see a tremendous difference, and it's wonderful. You guys are continuing to get better, and I think the addition of bringing that team championship into the picture has us on the last week of the season not only looking at Chad, Sean, and Marlon, and 4 or 5 guys up at the top, and by all means there may be a couple more of you that just haven't shown up yet this season that'll be up there battling for that title at the end of the year, but also guys that are typically in mid or late pack that have a chance to contribute to their team and give back. Really makes for some excellent broadcasting.
Going back to the real life stuff that was mentioned before, I think I was having this conversation with someone else the other day. I've been racing in real life for 9 years, and there'd probably be 4 or 5 or maybe 6 races I've had in real life which would come close to the competition in which we race in on Monday nights, and even the Saturday morning races in the Americas. The competition, respect, etc. is amazing for considering it's really a game. So yeah, I think a lot
It's
of
not a
respect to
game.
the series.
Oh, you have hurt some feelings, Jake.
Did someone say game?
It's a simulation.
It's a video game, and people get so upset. Well, people don't realize the amount of skill level that this takes. They don't realize the mental focus that it takes, and we could have a whole nother show on that. And trust me, we will. But I agree, Jake, 100% with what you're saying, and that is just awesome news. That ought to make every driver in this room right now feel a lot better about what they do, because that's hard to come by. Finding a group of guys that can compete with one another every week. Let's not even say week in and week out. Every single week, you guys compete with one another. And Kane and myself, if you guys don't put on a show, we're sitting there for an hour with nothing to do but try to make up things to talk about. And that is not what we want to do. And thank God that we don't have to do that. You guys give us these awesome stories and battles each week. And I just think that adding that team aspect to that would add even more icing on top of the already good cake.
Well, I think it's amazing that a group of people can get together all around the world and go door to door. It's they have my money, that's for sure.
That's it, Chad. Looking at you guys, Chad, you're from the United States. We got guys from Australia, New Zealand, Germany, all over the world. I mean, and we all come together, and you guys race each other like you've known each other your whole lives. Like, y'all, you know what I mean? How does that happen? How does that happen?
$100 a year.
Yeah, we're running pretty quick, and the speed variance is so little that you can just race door handle with each other, and you just know they're going to hit their mark and know they're going to hold their line. And battling with Chad, for example, on the other side of the wheel, and all you really do is give them 1 foot extra space, and that's about it, and it's enough to still have a really awesome battle.
Well, I tell you what, Sean, and the rest of you guys, as Kane and myself, I know that I speak for Kane too when I say this. You guys have a trust in one another that even the best racers in the world on the oval side of things do not have. You go over, Kane and myself broadcast on Wednesday nights the NASCAR iRacing Series top split, and we have your Tyler Hudson in there. We have your Michael Conti in there. We have some of the best in the world on that side of the racing world, and let me tell you something. They do not instill the same trust that you guys have over here, and that is that speaks very highly on the type of driving that we have over here. It's really, really neat.
Yeah, you go and race over there and you make one mistake and then you get abused by 30 drivers. And
yeah, it's
you
brutal.
race here and, as soon as someone makes a mistake, they put their hand up and apologise and we get on with racing, so.
That's it.
Definitely,
it's something to be very proud of.
There is a level of courtesy, and sportsmanship that is, I won't say lacking, but just it's exemplified here, and it's one of the reasons that I enjoy this car and this group of people so much. Is, man, you always pretty much, even a bad race, I leave with a smile on my face.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I don't want to keep the show going forever, but this is the Get Dirty MX post-race show, and before we get ready to wind things down, we've talked about a little bit about the team aspect. We'll continue that talk on throughout next week and see if any minds have changed or anything develops from this. In the meantime, guys, is there anything that any of you would like to mention out here? The floor is open.
Just make sure you go out and check out our sponsors, thesimpit.com. Make sure you check out Sean Cole's new show. It's an awesome bit of kit, and it's worth watching.
Yeah, Sean Cole has done so much for, I know you guys, STC Motorsports, and he's done a tremendous job for our broadcast as well. Kane and myself are very grateful for Sean Cole, and we wish him the very best over there at his new venture at the Sim Pit. He's a big supporter of us in our series as well, guys.
Have you done a rundown on the? Have you done a rundown on the second split yet?
No, we need to do that here on the post-race show. Does anybody have a rundown on the second split tonight?
I've just got the results up, and Andrew Green won it, and he's pretty quick. I noticed him in qualifying; he was pretty quick, and he just missed out in the top split. He probably should have had my spot. He would have given a bit more of a run, but he won it by about 10 seconds. Phil Jones second. Marty Creamer's third. Matt Dower, Chris Hogan,
Woohoo,
Matt
Chris
Yeomans.
Hogan. Top five.
There you are. He got fifth. He got fifth. So there you go.
Strop.
Strop.
Go Strap.
Matt Yeoman sixth, Scott Stevens seventh, Tony Lynch eighth, Rory Windram ninth, and Mike Manwill got 10th. So,
Who's that now?
Manuel, yeah. He's
There
a
we go.
Northwest guy.
There's Kane.
That's good stuff, man. That second split is guys that you all need to keep your eyes on, because I have a feeling that a lot of them will be joining this series in the near future.
Andrew Green's pretty quick, yeah. I reckon he'll be up here soon.
Good on.
Phenomenal.
I was speaking to Kermit, our mate Kermit, Andrew Green, and he said he had a blast in there and had a 2-second lead by the first lap, so he kind of walked away with it, but he enjoyed it and he's looking forward to getting back in top split and finishing one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I love seeing I love seeing the Kermit Mobile. Missed it this week at Road Atlanta, but I know we'll see him again. He'll probably be back in next week, I imagine, winning that one like that. They'll probably, but one of the things is I'm loving having 18 cars out on the starting grid, guys. That's awesome, and if we can keep that thing going, I'm a happy camper. It's so awesome. It wasn't long ago we were lucky to have 11 guys on the starting grid.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you know, if anyone's watching, get on this series. You've seen the racing this morning, and yeah, it can produce probably, I'd happily say, the best racing on the sim, from my opinion. So if you want some good racing, come and help populate the series, see if you enjoy it, and see if we can get higher soft and a bit more competition in these races, because it's good as it is, but the more the merrier. So
absolutely 100%. And speaking of that, I want to give a shout out to Samuel Ryman. Samuel is a newly added V8 supercar driver, and because he has had such a great I rating, he's able to join us in the top split, and he is very new to this car, and I thought that he has just done a phenomenal job in these past two races, joining us. And I know that with a little bit of time, he will be up there battling with you guys real soon. He is trying to figure this car out, and I think he's fallen in love. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, guys like him are taking a great approach, and yeah, once you get into the series, the racing is second to none, and it's awesome to be a part of. And there's always guys coming around, always someone behind you, and always someone in front of you.
How about this? Marlon sorry to jump in, guys. Marlon just wrote something on here that just made me twitch and get excited.
He wrote something? What, is his microphone broken?
No, he said.
He copy and pasted. He can't write.
He posted right here.
He's an author.
It says iRacing has announced, and you heard it right here on the Get Dirty MX post-race show, that iRacing has announced the long-awaited Dallara D12 IndyCar will be released this Monday, in time for this year's iRacing Indy 500. Monday's release will only feature the Speedway configuration, suitable for 1.5 miles and over, while the other packages will likely be released in the Season 3 build. All packages will be included in the DW12 purchase, so you will be able to use the road and short course configurations once they are released. Kind of like the I guess when we did the rough and we didn't get the all-wheel drive until the next build come out. That is fantastic news. I am very, very excited about that, because I am a big fan of the Indy 500, and that'll be really fun instead of us racing a 3-year-old vehicle. Now, can we get the dadgum Holden in here?
Soon. It's very soon.
That's what they say, and that is a beautiful picture right there that I was sent to us. Jake Burton sent us a picture, and that is just a beautiful looking machine right there. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming to the Get 30 MX post-race show. It's my little take. I thought that I talked to Kane, and I said, you know what? We have such a great time with our post-race interviews. We might as well turn it into one heck of a weekly recap show and just get a chance to talk with all the drivers, since you guys are all here. Now, we do head off to Summit Point next week, so I'm going to be looking forward to Different racing next week. A lot of you guys I know have not spent a lot of time there in that track. So should be interesting what we see next week. Who's going to be the speed demon at that track? There's not a lot of hours.
I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
No, sir. No, sir. You all need to be there. You're all in the same boat there. Nobody, and I mean nobody, spends time in the V8 on that track unless they're just been like some weird driver out there that's like, you know what, I'm going to practice Summit Point because nobody else does, and one day it's going to be on the schedule.
I must say, I don't mind the
punish
track.
myself.
I've done it a few times before, and we've done a fuel-saving race there before. I think we had the option to either pit or do the fuel-saving race, and that was one of the best races we've ever had there. It's sort of like a mini Winton, I put it down to.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Sounds
say,
like
I
a
remember
race.
watching a race, I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons ago there, and everybody seemed to really like it.
Well, you
I
heard
like
it.
I think I remember
It was
that
my
race,
favourite
Hog
track in
Stadium.
the Masters.
Yeah.
I think I remember going on that track to test once in the V8, but it was just to see how far I could get it to fly on the sandbank on the side of the front straight.
Quit JD driving out there, man. You're too good to be doing that. But
Yeah, I don't think it ran that since around the Skippy.
oh man, that's what I think about when I think of Summit Point. I think the Skippy, and it's a great little fun car. But this is totally different. V8 supercar action next week at Summit Point, guys. Anything else before we head out here on the Get Dirty MX post race show? Kane,
That'd be
Thought
a
I'd
pit-
mention.
go
You
right ahead.
Sean.
I was just gonna say it'll be a pit stop next week too, so they'll be ready. Mix it up also.
Love
Yep,
the
yep.
pit stop races.
I was just gonna say about the Skippy. Get amongst it this week, New Hampshire road course. It's awesome fun. I've run a couple races off topic. Give it a go.
You know, we should go there because that's a neat little road course up the hill.
That is the number
Yeah.
one roval in the world. It is the
Roval.
best.
That'll be the next STC Invitational track, just quietly.
There you go. And you heard that
Boom.
here at first. I like that. Thanks, Marty. It is an
Can you give us
awesome
a
road
car?
course.
Negative.
Yeah, you just got to keep the car secret now.
Can't allow too much information. I'm already be in trouble. I can hear my phone going off already.
Yeah. We better get off the air before Marty gets
Yeah, stop
gets in
talking,
trouble.
JD, and wrap this thing up, would you?
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much to all the drivers. Congratulations to Marlon McMullen. He gets his first win of the season, guys. If you haven't had a chance to watch the race yet, please go over and watch it. You can always watch every race over on v8online.com. And if you can't, if you don't want to go there, go to youtube.com, type in V8's Online. Every single V8's Online video is on there. Subscribe, guys. Millions and millions of fans one day await that wonderful place on YouTube. So get over there and check out this awesome race we had at Road Atlanta tonight. Your top three, once again, was Marlon McMullen, followed by Sean Kelly, and the final spot on the podium goes to Chad Chastain. It was a great race, guys. Thank you so much for coming out for the Get Dirty MX post-race show. I'm JD Smith, Kane Kraft with me here from V8's Online, and we'll be coming to you live next week as we come to you live from Summit Point. Y'all have a great night.
Muggleton just has to cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.